Yo, 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 what's going on? Mr. Williams here coming at you with another lesson. Guess this is the part where I dab. Yeah. Cool, bro, we're getting a new lesson. I'm gonna dab. No, that's kind of lame. What else could I do? I got it. This is pretty cool. How about a little old-fashioned water bottle flip? Come on. One more time. I'm trash at that too, man. Let's see, what else we got? I got a tennis ball. Let's see if I can balance it on my head or something. How does this work? Do you have to put your arms out, balance your whole body? Nothing, man. I got nothing today, no skills. All right, so last time we talked, I told you that these people called anthropologists, they split Texas up, completely split it up into four. And they split it up based on the different cultures. So I told you had the Plains culture, which is like the Panhandle, West Texas. Those were the Native Americans that followed the buffalo and hunted and things like that gathered berries, whatnot. They didn't really have permanent establishments because they were always on the move. They were always traveling. And then just to the southwest of them, you had the Pueblo culture area, which is in that little arm of Texas. And those are your adobe builders, like the great big apartments or even the smaller adobes, but that's like the mud buildings. And then out to our east, you've got the southeastern culture. That's the Caddo Indians. They were mostly farmers. They did hunt as well. If they were close to places that had water and fish, they could fish too. They relied on sometimes if you went too far east, they would eat crocodiles and alligators and things like that. So whatever was there, that's what they ate. But again, they were able to establish more permanent settlements because they didn't move around as much as the Plains people did. And then below that, you're going to have the Gulf culture area, and that's what we're going to talk about today is that Gulf culture area. And they're south of us. They're along all the way to the very bottom of Texas, and then all the way up pretty close into East Texas, around Tyler area, just south of Dallas, and then just the rest of it all the way down. Again, that is the Gulf culture area. So the Gulf culture is a pretty big area. So you're going to have two different climates. You're going to have, if you're in the extreme southern part, it's going to be really hot. It's going to be really dry. There's not going to be a lot of animals. It's going to be very limited for those Native Americans. But if you're more to the coast, then it's going to be pretty wet climate, pretty mild, not too bad. I mean, it's going to be humid, but not too awful bad. And the Native Americans there, they're going to enjoy lots of fish, shellfish, turtles, and things like that. Where again, those farther south, they're not going to have a lot of resources. They're going to hunt with bow and arrows. They're going to have to rely on gathering wild plants and things like that. So it's going to be a quick lesson. I'm going to talk about two different Native American tribes, and I cannot say either name good. So here we go. The first one is the Karankawa. I think that's right, Karankawa. So the Karankawa people, they are nomads. The word nomad means people who travel. They travel from place to place. They don't have a permanent home. That's a very important word you're going to need to remember. Nomad. N-O-M-A-D. Nomad. They move around. So like the Plains Indians that I was telling you about that follow the buffalo, those are nomads. They don't have a permanent establishment. They're always on the move, following their food source. So the Karankawa, during the fall and winter, they're going to live along the Gulf Coast. They're going to rely on fishing and things like that. But during the spring and summer, they're going to camp near rivers and streams and things like that, closer into the coastal prairie area. The Karankawa people travel in canoes. They carve these canoes out of large tree trunks. They have to do it all by hand. Each canoe carried, an entire family or so, plus all their baskets, their pottery, and get ready for this word, their wigwam. That's right, you heard it right, wigwam. So a wigwam is their house. I'll throw up a picture of that wigwam so you can see it. But wigwams were the Karankawa's homes. They would deconstruct them and take them with them. They're going to be built with poles. They're going to be covered in things like bark and animal skins and things like that. It's kind of like a dome-shaped building. Each wigwam was large enough to hold 7 or 8 people. And for safety, the Karankawa are going to travel in groups of about, 30 to 40 people or so. They're going to paint their bodies with bright colors. They're going to use a system of smoke signals to kind of communicate between the different groups that they have scattered about the coastal plains there. And they're going to send messages about battles and special ceremonies and things like that. Listen to this. To keep the insects off of them, we have a mosquito problem here in Texas, so we're always spraying that bug spray on us. Well, they didn't have bug spray back then, so the Karankawa rubbed alligator fat and dirt all over their skin to help with the mosquitoes and the other bugs. Sounds pretty gross, but you got to do what you got to do. All right, so the other Native American tribe, these are this one's even harder. It's the Coahuiltecan. That was horrible. Let's try this again. Coahuiltecan. Maybe that was closer. I really have no idea. Anyway, these Coahuiltecan people, they were nomads as well. They travel through the hot and dry climate of really, really far south central Texas. So again, their climate's a little different. They don't have the fish and the streams and things like that they can rely on. Animals are going to be really scarce. And on top of that, the soil is too dry that they can't farm. They can't grow anything. And there's only going to be like small animals like deer and rabbits and birds and insects that they can found. So the Coahuiltecan people are going to dig pits. Think about like, I don't know if you've seen some old movies like where these people are trapping animals, so they dig these pits and the animals fall in, and then here come the Coahuiltecan people to get them. Guess what animal they did this to? The javelina, which is kind of like a hog. It's a pig-like animal. It lives in caves, lives under cool ledges and things like that. So anyway, the Coahuiltecan people would dig these large pits and kind of hide them, put sticks and leaves on them. So when the javelina walk by, they fall in, and then here come the Coahuiltecan to get their supper. So when animals couldn't be found, though, Coahuiltecan people had to survive by eating seeds, eggs, get ready, spiders, worms, dirt, and even rotten wood. Wow, that's a 5-star dinner. Dirt, bugs, rotten wood. Sounds great to me. What about you? So they did what they had to do. You don't want to die, you're going to eat whatever you can find. The rotten wood does not sound good, though. Archaeologists have found evidence, though, that the Coahuiltecan people made stone hammers and knives. They hunted with bow and arrows and things like that. They're going to move around too often, so they're not really going to have a permanent establishment. Again, that word is nomad, people that move around. And again, they're just looking for food. They're having to follow the animals, what little animals there are, if they want to survive. So and we'll get to this unit here shortly within the next couple weeks, but when the Europeans come over, like the Spanish and the French, when they come to Texas, nothing is going to be able to protect these Karankawa and the Coahuiltecan people from diseases. And, the Spanish people, the Coahuiltecan and the Karankawa are South Texas, and the Spanish and the French, that's kind of where they're going to come in at. So these Native Americans are going to be kind of the first contact, these Texas Native American Indians are going to be like the first Native Americans here in Texas that are going to make contact with the Europeans. So they're going to kind of get the brunt force of it in the beginning. Neither of these groups had ever experienced a lot of the diseases that the Spanish and the French bring over. Things like the flu and things like that. They never had that before, so they didn't have the immune system built up. So a lot of these Karankawa and the Coahuiltecan people are going to die of diseases just because they don't have that immune built up to it. Thousands are going to die pretty quickly. In addition to that, the Gulf cultures fought with a lot of the other Native American tribes, French, Spanish, and later on the American people that come in. They're going to fight with them as well. Some Coahuiltecan people begin to live among and marry Spanish settlers. So as they do that, they're kind of losing their culture, and eventually the Coahuiltecan, the entire culture, is going to disappear because they've married into Spanish society and kind of disappear. So anyway, that is Karankawa, Coahuiltecan people. That is the Gulf culture area. And that's pretty much, it was a short lesson, but that's pretty much all you need to know. Again, key takeaways are you have two different climates. On one hand, you've got a fairly wet climate with hot summers. On the other hand, in the south central part of Texas, it's very hot, it's very dry. They don't have a lot of food and things like that. Karankawa, they're nomads. They're going to rely on like shellfish and turtles and fishing in the ocean, whereas the Coahuiltecan people, a little rougher for them. They're going to have to eat rotten wood and spiders and eggs and things like that when they can't find other types of game. So that is the Gulf culture area. Hop on down, answer those 3 questions below, and I will see you next time for another culture area. Good luck, guys.